So Easter might have been last week, but it is today that we have a whole bunch of behind the scenes and Easter eggs that came courtesy of Mark Maher from Hasbro's Transformer design team. Mark posted a whole bunch of images on Instagram with a absolute slew of amazing photos of the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe class mini bot gears, this upcoming amazing figure that him and Hasui-san worked on from Takara. Again, these amazing photos show the awesome articulation that the figure has, shows how the design was done and the first pitches of how this character was going to be with the accessories and everything. Gave us great insight on the figure. But he also showed us a whole bunch of hidden features that are not advertised on the product, on the figure, on the box, on the cross-sell. So we're going to talk about those today because outside of his Instagram, no one else is really talking about this. So first up, this figure, on top of its alt mode and its amazing robot mode, actually has a third Cybertronian mode. So due to the design magic that Mark and Hasui-san from Takara did, not only does this Gears have an amazing robot mode that does a great job of hiding the vehicle mode's wheels and everything, but it also has a secondary vehicle mode itself that is more of a hovercraft in nature, much like a lot of the other Cybertronian designs that we saw from the Generation 1 cartoon. Now, Gears never officially in the Generation 1 cartoon had a Cybertronian mode, much like Jazz and Wheeljack and Bumblebee. But during that amazing run of the Dreamwave IDW prequel comic books, The War Within, more specifically The War Within the Dark Ages, which was done by the creative veteran of Transformers himself, Andrew Wildman, we got to see Gears' Cybertronian mode for the very first time. So this kind of brings it all full circle back to that in a lot of ways. And so now we have a Gears with a hover Cybertronian mode, and Mark shows how you could do that. You could use blast effects to really emphasize that too. So that's a nice touch already there that exists. The second thing was that, Gears can open up his chest. We knew about that to show all the circuitry on the inside. That was a throwback to the G1 Season 2 episode, Changing Gears, where Megatron, took his, I guess we'll call it the Grumpy Circuit disc modulator out of his chest to use the information and everything. So Mark suggested that while they didn't have the budget to include the circuit disc modulator as an accessory, if you have a core class Soundwave figure from the Kingdom line, from War for Cybertron Kingdom, you could use that little untransformable Laserbeak cassette as a stand-in for the Grumpy circuit disc modulator that Gears had. Now, sadly, the core class Sound Blaster version is the same molded black plastic, so you don't really have a color wave difference, and one went from a Laserbeak to a Buzzsaw. But if we ever do get a Rat-Bat repaint in the future of that little tape, it'll be in purple, and it'll be screen accurate to the purple that was shown in that episode. But again, he kind of suggests that too. If you have this little core class, at least you have a little accessory that could go a little extra in the future. And who knows, maybe that'll be the case with a repaint. We'll see. But one of the best Easter eggs, the best one of them all, and the deepest of the deep cuts, comes from the prehistory of Gears, and most of the Generation 1 mini-bots too. So mini-bots, Gears, Brawn, Huffer, and Windcharger, they were all designs that came from a canceled subline called the Mysterians. And a lot of people always assumed, these were the Micro-Change, Microman guys. It goes a little deeper than that. So the Mysterians was this line that they were going to do a sequel line to it that was going to have a whole bunch of vehicles. All of those got canceled, but the tooling was still available. And those molds were taken and used by Takara back in the early 80s for their Micro-Change line with Microman. And that's the characters that we ended up getting today. And that's why Gears, Brawn, Huffer, and Windcharger have these little M's on their alt mode, while Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, and Bumper don't. And Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, and Bumper, you could see that between those three, there's a lot of similar and unique group shaping going on there, and that just shows how different those three are compared to the Brawn, Huffer, Windcharger, and Gears. So that little M that was on those characters, that M stands for the Mysterians. It doesn't stand for Micro Change or Micro Man, but it actually stands for that. So why bring all of that up? Well, this Legacy United Gears on the back of his head, much like his original toy back in the day, has the iconic M on the back of it. So that's a super deep cut, but a nice touch to the history of this character and his design going way before he was ever a Transformer character. So something that an old head like me from the Transformer fandom could always appreciate, and props to Mark and Hasui-san for doing that. So really cool stuff. Just wanted to point out those 3 cool things, 3 little Easter eggs that we were not aware of that existed on this figure, and thus makes this figure even more exciting. A nice little loaded deluxe class figure, continuing that mini-bot collection and getting one step closer to completing all the mini-bots, at least the 84 guys. So looking forward to picking up him in the future when the opportunity presents itself. And let me know what you think about this Gears. I love what I see here, and I hope to see more from future releases from Mark and the crew. But let me know what you think, and we'll talk again really soon here on the Transformer Slag podcast. And as always, thank you for listening.